Hello there, wiggers and niggers. It's your boy Uppity White Guy, UWG on this channel. So, what are we going to talk about? O.J. Simpson died. O.J. Simpson, damn. I didn't see that coming. I guess Nicole Brown Simpson didn't see it coming either. Ooh, too soon. Okay, young people. Fuck, here we go again. O.J. Simpson was, in my day, he was a celebrity, okay? He was probably one of the most famous black Americans that there was. And likable, too, by the way. Like, you didn't feel threatened by him. He didn't, like, have tattoos on his face that said 619 or none of this fucking retarded stuff. Hung around with lots of white people. Yeah, he did. Had lots of white friends. Had a hot ass white wife. Ain't no doubt. He was a football player. Okay? Running back, I believe. I'm not really into football. That was my late brother. I almost know jack shit about it. Don't care. I'm more of like a wrestling, which isn't a real sport, kind of guy. Maybe drag racing, hot rods, and some UFC kind of person. Old school boxing, but doesn't do anything for me today. So I don't know much about football and don't give two shits. But he was a football player. In 1968, I believe, Heisman Trophy winner. I can't remember the college, but he played for San Francisco for many, many years. And then after football, kind of in my childhood, he was better known to being an actor. Okay, it wasn't a great actor, but he was in the Naked Gun movies, and he was always getting killed in some funny way or something. And he was an actor. And he was in, I remember, Hertz car rental commercials. Like, he was a big spokesman. And he also did Monday Night Football, like commentary and shit. So, he was a huge celebrity. The whole country knew who the fuck OJ was. Well, let me see, in the 90s sometime, he cut off his wife's head. Literally, almost. I think it was hanging by a thread. Okay, he was going through like a divorce or something, and he got pissed at her, and this guy, Ron Goldman, which really had nothing to do with anything, this motherfucker had the worst luck in history. When I think I have bad luck, I just think of Ron Goldman. And I'm like, hey, my luck ain't that bad. He was this white Jewish guy out in California that was a waiter. So OJ's soon-to-be ex-wife goes to the fucking restaurant, leaves her glasses there, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I left my glasses. She gets home to her ritzy house that she shares with OJ. Says, I left my glasses there. Ron Goldman, thinking he's a stand-up guy, goes, I waited on her. I'll bring your glasses to your house. Thinking he's a great guy, and also, she's hot, and he's, a young, good-looking white guy. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So he comes around the side of the house. She comes out to hand her glasses. And OJ's hiding somewhere. And he's pissed. And he thinks probably she's getting it on with this guy. So basically he stabs the shit out of both of them. And almost decapitates her. They're both fucking killed. Blood's everywhere. Blood is on the fence. Or the opening of the fucking gate to the house. Blood is on socks. It's on gloves. It's literally in his house. And then he decides, instead of turning himself over, he gets in his Ford Bronco. This made Bronco super famous, okay, even though it already was a known truck and very popular. It's really famous now. When everybody sees a white Bronco from that era, immediately people think OJ. In fact, I've seen license plates that people put on their white Broncos saying not OJ. Niggas, you gotta see the sense of humor in all this, but I know some of you weren't born then, so you're like, oh, get it. But You don't understand how fucking big and huge this was. There was like a 2-mile-an-hour chase down like the freeway of LA. Because OJ was supposed to turn himself in, and his buddy, football buddy, Al Cowlings, which I never heard of before till this, because again, I didn't watch football. OJ's got a gun to his head in the back, and he's running from the cops, and the cops are like following. And this was live on TV. Like they broke into like every fucking channel to show this, and OJ's running from the cops, and there's a fleet of like cop cars behind him, and they're going like 15 miles an hour down the fucking freeway, and this is like on every fucking channel everywhere. Like, I shit you not, and the thing is, everybody instantly knew about it. It spread like that, and we're talking the 90s, so there was no Facebook, no tickety-tock, no YouTube. There was none of this shit. People weren't online hardly at all. I don't know if AOL was a thing. I think it was. I could be wrong. But I mean, people did maybe email back then, but it was like, there was no 4chan. None of this fucking shit that you have today. And this spread like that without the internet. It was amazing. Everybody was glued to their fucking TV sets. You would think this was literally the fucking Super Bowl. And as they passed the sides of the road, people were like cheering them on. Like, run, OJ, run. And especially black people. And they're all holding up banners. Go, OJ, go, OJ. He just murdered 2 people. You know? But they're cheering him on. And as they drive past overpasses, people are hanging out over the overpasses with huge, you know, fucking flags and shit telling them to run and go. Where the fuck's he going? Nobody knows. He didn't know. They were just literally driving around LA because they didn't exactly have an escape plan, and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Well, eventually they circled all the way back to OJ's house. Genius. And he gives himself up. Okay, so the trial goes on for like at least 7 months. It was the longest trial maybe of all time. And everybody knew the names. Judge Ito, and then all OJ's lawyers, F. Lee Bailey, Robert Shapiro, and the actual Kardashian father, Robert Kardashian, which is now passed away, where they got all their money from, their lawyer daddy. And everybody knew everybody's name. Like, this was a live soap opera every day, and people tuned in to watch this fucking trial for like 7 fucking months. Well, OJ gets off because, again, here we go, in a crystal ball of things to come, his lawyer said racism. And this was before everything was racism for every other thing now. You know? The cops did it to him because he's black. Now we're hearing this every day, but back then, you still heard it, but not like today. Not like every 5 seconds. And there wasn't the internet that there was today, so you didn't have this constant, oh, racism, racism, every 5 seconds. There was no such thing as DEI and all this other shit. And there wasn't talk about reparations. There was, but not every 5 seconds, like there is today. We were not quite the polarized country that we are today. And yet, they got him off because of racism. Because the cops went, it's just absurd. The cops went and planted blood everywhere. So the cops planted OJ's blood. How they got OJ's blood, nobody knows. But they planted Nicole Brown Simpson's blood, I guess, and Ron Goldman's blood everywhere. They planted OJ's thumbprint on the, how they got his thumb, I don't know. But they planted his thumbprint on the gate coming into his house. They put blood all over his carpet in the house. They put blood in his Bronco. They put blood on his shoes and on his gloves. Now, how the fuck the cops got a hold of it? Yeah, it's absurd. It's fucking absurd. Only a complete delusional retard that is mentally handicapped believed this shit. And yet, people did. Now, what it comes down to is, I don't know, before this, years before this or whatever, there was this other guy by the name of Rodney King. Regular average black guy. And the cops pull him over. Well, he's high as a kite on something. This was out in California again. And the cops keep telling him to stay down, and he keeps trying to get back up. Because he's out of his brain. Now, it was a good thing the cops pulled him over because he was high. He could have ran over 10 kids. You know? But, unfortunately, the cops didn't use really good restraint. Like, I've still watched that video, and I thought to myself, if a couple cops just got on his back, they could have held him down, maybe. But they were nightsticking the living shit out of this nigga. Okay, and they used way too much restraint. They beat the living shit out of him. I agree that if he was driving drunk, they should have pulled him out and probably hit him a couple times with the baton in the head. And then cuffed him and put him in the car. Hey, you drive drunk, you can hit a kid, you should probably be whacked around a little. I ain't got a problem with it. Okay, but they beat the living shit out of this guy. So again, the blacks rioted because they didn't like, because all the cops went to trial out in L.A. and they got found innocent. Amazing. That would not happen today. So the cops, the exact opposite of like Rodney King. The exact opposite of, what the fuck's his name? You know who I'm talking about. George Floyd. So, the cops got off. Well, they probably shouldn't have got off, but they did. So, as blacks do, they have to protest. But they don't protest, they riot. And then they call it a protest. So they burn down part of LA, and they looted stores. It just burned the fucking place up like, you know, animals. Typical. And so now months later, OJ's on trial. Or years later, OJ's on trial. Well, he's black. And OJ gets off because of racism. There's Johnny Cochran, one of his famous black lawyers. The guy pulled the race card. It was despicable. It was a disgrace. He should have been, you know, disbarred. But no, don't worry about it. So OJ gets off, and now 30 plus years later, they've interviewed at least one, and I think more than one, juror, black jurors that were on the trial, and they go, well, did you think he was guilty? His blood's everywhere. Yeah, we thought he might be guilty. No, he was fucking guilty. But did Rodney King have anything to do with it? Being that he was a black guy beaten by white people, were you going to get back at Whitey? And the lady just goes, the lady that was a black juror, now she's old as fucking dust. You know. She goes, yeah, we kinda. Yeah, we let him lose as payback for Rodney King. Okay, that's not what you're supposed to do. Now, granted, I agree those cops probably should have went to jail or something. Okay, they were way too heavy-handed with this guy, although I totally agree with pulling a guy out of the car and whacking him a few times in the head. I mean, he was driving drunk, he was driving high, could have ran over a kid. Give him a few fucking whacks. Then put him in the back of the cop car. He fell. You know, I don't have a problem with it. But they beat the living shit out of him. Okay? So, okay. They were heavy-handed. And yeah, bad decision. I think this is what happens when you get a jury in this country now. People are so stupid, so ill-educated, and so racist, like, oh, I'm gonna get back. They don't care about the facts of the fucking trial. It's just, oh, look what I'm gonna do. Yeah, okay, that's not what you're supposed to do when you're on a jury. So this black woman even said, oh yeah, some of us definitely let him free, even though we thought he murdered that white girl and white guy. We let him free because of Rodney King, you know, a few years before. Are you shitting me? She admits it today. And she grew to be an old age and probably collected Social Security. Just put a killer back on the fucking street. Because she's gonna stick it to Whitey. She should have been thrown out of this fucking country and banished. This is why I'm telling you right now, and I say this with all honesty. I don't care what kind of case it is. I don't care if it's happened in a black community, a white community. Black should never serve on juries. That's it. Done. Done. Black people should never be on juries. In my opinion, most women shouldn't be on juries. Muslims shouldn't be on juries. And probably most Hispanics shouldn't be on juries. A lot of these races and genders, a lot, not all, are unstable emotionally, and a lot of them suffer from mental illness. That's just fucking simple. Okay, you go, oh, you're racist. Okay, whatever the fuck. I told you before, if you're white, you're born with what I like to call original racism. It's there in your genes from birth, right? That's what they tell us. So I'm racist. Okay, fine, fuck it. Racist. You're going to call me that anyway. And you're going to call the next person that, the next white person that, the next white person. You're always going to fucking do it. So who gives a flying fuck at this point? Okay, we know what you're going to do. The playbook is open. It's wide open. You're not fooling anyone. This is what the fuck you're going to do. So, with that said, I don't care. My opinion is no blacks, very few women at all, no Muslims, and probably very few Hispanics. Because most of them are unstable. And if you don't know English, for fuck's sake, you can't read or write or understand it, no jury, no interpreters, no. Out. Pretty much 90% of juries should be made up of males and white males. Because they're really the only ones who think logically in this country, and Asians. Other than that, people are too emotional, too stupid. Oh, I'm going to give payback. That's not what you're supposed to do on a fucking jury, retard. You're supposed to listen to the case and rule fairly on the facts. Not, oh, something happened 100 years ago, now I'm going to get... Oh, fuck you weren't even alive. I've said before, plain and simple. You can't make it any more simple. Seriously. You didn't pick any cotton, and I didn't own you. This country owes you nothing. That's fucking it. And something that happened 2 years ago or whatever to another black person, which may be unfortunate, no doubt about it, injustice may have been served. That doesn't mean the next trial you're going to make it right. No, cut that shit. This is why I'm telling you blacks should not be allowed to serve on the jury. Period. We cannot have black people on juries. It's because they cannot be trusted. And there are good black people. I'm sorry about that, but that's tough shit. If you don't like it, fix your fucking community. This is what I tell you all the fucking time. Muslims, you don't like being stereotyped? Fix your fucking community. Stop blowing people up. Nobody likes it. Fix it. Stop hopping on sheep. It's not right. The sheep don't want that shit. God damn, niggas. This is what I'm talking about. O.J. Simpson alone proved it. And don't say it hasn't happened in many other forms. It has. But the O.J. Simpson verdict alone, because of its enormity, because of his celebrity status, fucking everybody knows it. It proves it right there. Black people cannot handle the fucking responsibility in this country. They claim they want freedom. They claim they want... They cannot handle it. Plain and simple. I'm not saying put them in slavery again. I'm not saying that. But you can't let them be on a jury and things of that nature. They cannot handle it. I'm not sorry. Go fuck yourself. They can't handle it. This proves it. There's too many of them that can't handle it. And the ones that do, I am sorry. But there's nothing I can do about it. Clean your own house. Fuck's sake, niggas. These balls.